Howdy, I'm Lee Wilson, and this is DGO Wyoming, on the move. And today we're talking about riots everywhere! Yes, this year seems to be Year of the Riot. So, of course, my morning Facebook feed is absolutely just slammed with riots in Milwaukee. Of course, by the time this video gets posted and through the cycle, that's going to be, long over news. But it's what's on my mind this morning, so that's what we're going to talk about. One of the current themes of rioting, it seems, is to block traffic. And since this is on the move, it seems to be very appropriate to talk about what to do if a riot in your city is blocking your way. Well, I've read a bunch of stuff on this. I've heard many different opinions, some of which are good, some of which are bad. But the real thing that I question is, what's your plan? What's my plan? What's your plan? Do you have a plan in case roads are blocked by angry mobs of rioters? Because mob mentality is terrifying. I mean, when you boil it right down to it, people do ridiculous stuff when they're in a mob. It's dispersion of responsibility. People don't feel like they're personally held accountable, so everybody's doing it. There's some really good psychology behind this. I highly encourage all of my viewers to go get Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman's books on killing and on combat. I believe On Killing has the section about the diffusion of responsibility. It's all tied to the power of atrocity and what people can do when they don't think they're being held accountable and responsible. So go get the books, Amazon them, Prime them, whatever. Get them, read them. Some really insightful material there. But back to the topic at hand. So you're driving down, on your way to work through your city, and all of a sudden an angry mob has blocked your way. What do you do? Well, that could be a really challenging situation, simply because your car can be considered a deadly weapon. So I'd start off first by knowing the laws. Know the laws in your area. Go talk to a lawyer, talk to law enforcement, and realize that if you just plow through the protesters, you could be charged with, attempted murder. Because your car is a deadly weapon. And if you're not in an imminent threat situation, I'm going to assume this is fairly universal. If you're not in immediate danger, if there's not an imminent threat to your life, then you don't really have the option of using your car as a deadly vehicle or a deadly weapon. So my general idea behind that is, if you're not willing to step out and use your firearm in defense of this person, or defense from this person, if you're not willing to shoot them, stab them, club them, if you're not willing to kill them and you're not justified in doing so, then don't run them over with your car. It's a big 2-ton death machine, which is also an advantage. So if you can roll forward slowly and kind of nudge people out of the way, one of the best techniques that I've heard is rock back and forth, where you're going to go forward and then reverse a little bit, forward and reverse a little bit. What you're doing is you're creating space. And by creating this space, you're backing people off of your car, and you're going to be able to make that space and hopefully get yourself out of the situation. If the protest is nonviolent, maybe just sit it out. Maybe just calm down, pay attention to what's going on, grab your cell phone, take some video. If you have a GoPro, grab your GoPro, take some video, and, document what's going on. And you could always wait for the law enforcement to arrive, which they may or may not, due to the size of the riots. They might have their hands full, so you might be stuck there. So if the riot has turned violent and people are trying to break your windows or drag you out of the car, then that's go time. I'd say that would be the time that you would consider going fast and forward and getting the heck out of there. So there are a lot of variables to consider, but I think the primary ones to look at are definitely, is this a deadly force situation? What is the mood and attitude of the rioting crowd, of the protesting crowd? Is it peaceful? Is it violent? And check all your options for escape. I'm a firm believer that escape is one of the best options you have. If you can, bug out. Get out, boogie, whatever you gotta do. Just get out of the situations. That way, it doesn't escalate any further. So, and this also could mean driving over curbs, going over sidewalks. You know, don't be afraid to bang up your vehicle a little bit. You know, I know that would be tough if you drove a little sports car. Me and the Land Cruiser are like, whatever, I'll go over a curb, no problem. Cross country, whatever. But the Land Cruiser can handle that, and so can my wife's Trailblazer. So SUVs are a little bit more suited, in my opinion, to surviving this kind of situation as opposed to a nice new Mustang GT. But yeah, riding crowds, something to consider. You know, these are things that you need to take a look at. You need to determine, do I have a plan? And if I do, what is that plan? And what is the validity of that plan? You know, take into consideration, are it just you? Is it you and your family? What are the other variables? So, do you have a plan if you need to exfil from your car? If you need to leave your vehicle, do you know how you're going to do that? You know, are you going to be able to push through the crowd, or is the crowd just going to dogpile on you and beat you to death? These are all variables that you have to consider, all variables that you're going to have to assess at the time in which you are in this situation. So there's no easy answer, but I really want to evoke some thought on that particular situation, because as has been proven this year by the numerous mobs, riots, and protests, that this is a real possibility, and I think it's something worthwhile to consider. So do that. And on that note, thanks again for watching. And as always, stay safe, shoot straight, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.